answer that helps.
Sure.
I'm going to join now just to make sure we're working. Alright.
Are these the people that are on?
Yes.
Kevin Price. Yes.
Unmuted.
I love that guy.
You guys hear us?
Hi, Chesson. How are you?
I'm a 10. How are you?
Also a 10.
Are you running this ship?
I sure am.
I will only be taking questions from Kevin Price. So everybody can ask questions, but they have to ask him and then to ask me.
Where is Kevin in this world? I need to check the tracker.
He's got to be in Boise, right?
Hello. Hello. I am not in Boise, unfortunately.
Are you in Buffalo?
I'm in Buffalo, yep.
Good for you.
Omaha, and then I'll do Columbus and Evansville. Not to jump the gun on the chat, but Chesson, I appreciate the kind words.
Do you know how much Josh Allen is going to be making per game this year?
Many.
He's making over $2 million a game.
If he brings the same energy he has the last 3 years, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
He's pretty good. He's pretty good.
Girls over guys, shows the heart, loves the city, bought a house here, belongs to the same golf course I grew up playing.
Oh my gosh, he
Let's
loves
freaking
Buffalo.
go.
Let's get it started, you guys. Kevin, we're going to put you on mute. All right. Chesson, welcome to the Northern Trust. Thanks for joining us in the virtual interview room. It's great to have you here. Obviously, a remarkable finish and showing for you at the Wyndham Championship, and the hole-in-one got you into the field here. Can you talk about the emotion of that finish and your excitement to be at the playoffs this week?
Yeah, sure. It's, I've kind of been on the outside looking in all year. I have that great finish, or bittersweet finish at Congaree, which kind of at least put me in a position to make the playoffs, and I actually played much better since then, but just hadn't really had a decent finish. Was making cuts, but just kind of finishing, towards the back of the pack. But just found something there the last day and was able to. I mean, the whole day was kind of magical from the start to the hole-in-one to the finish. So it was. It is. I'm very blessed to be here right now. That's for sure.
And you've been here before. You've played the Northern Trust. This is going to be your fifth start. You played at Liberty National. Have you been able to play the course yet this week? And what are your thoughts on this course related to the way you're being played?
I do love this place. I played here back in 2019, and just kind of the whole experience that surrounds the Northern Trust, I think when it's here at Liberty is unsurpassed. I stay in Manhattan and just take the ferry ride over in the morning. You pass the Statue of Liberty, and it just, I don't know, I just come to the course in a good mood, ready to go. And, I think probably statistically the course doesn't maybe set up for me that great, just because I think hitting the fairway is a premium here. But I don't know, I don't really feel like that matters. I don't know. I feel like I'm good enough to hit the fairway. So, and I made the cut here in 2019, but didn't really do much more than that. But certainly looking to kind of carry the momentum from Sunday over into this week and get rock and rolling.
We'll go ahead and open it up to questions. I'm going to start with Sean Martin, PGAtour.com.
Hey, Chesson. Did you cry after Congaree?
Did I cry?
Yes.
Wow. No.
Okay.
No crying. I was disappointed, believe it or not,
Yeah.
Sean.
No, I'm sure, but I just wondering because you're talking about crying at Wyndham, and just obviously the range of emotions in a few months for you.
What did you think of my crying?
I thought it was a great interview. Everyone loved it.
Oh, but what about the crying specifically? Was I a good crier, or could I be better? How do I get better at that, since you're asking about it? I'm messing with you, Sean. I'm totally hijacked the interview. I love that. I love that.
Yeah, I was just, I guess the range of emotions in a few months from one to the other.
Yeah, it has just been such an kind of an up and down year, just with having the really great opportunity to win at Congaree and letting that slip away, to just playing better there towards the end of the year, but not really getting anything out of it, and just kind of thinking, just like this seriously can't be, like I seriously can't be missing the top 125 after Congaree, and then Sunday happens, and it all made sense. Honestly, it just all came together.
Was celebrating Sunday at all comparable to celebrating a victory?
Yeah, I felt like I beat Kevin. Honestly, I felt like I won the golf tournament.
Price or Kisner?
Kisner. I always beat Kevin Price. And golf.
Yeah. Oh, of course. All right. Thank you.
Bob Harris, ESPN.
Great. Hey, good morning. Thanks for your time. First, had you allowed yourself to think of what you were going to do had you not made it here? I mean, obviously, you probably had to make some plans. You had to have some contingencies. And how daunting was that road to have to take if you didn't make it here?
Yeah, good question. All that was weighing on my mind. It was either jump on a plane to go to Boise or jump on a plane to come here and try and maybe make my way to Atlanta. And I went home on Saturday night because I finished early, and I just, Amanda and I, we talked, and, she was going through all of this with me, and she was certainly emotional because she feels like she's kind of been all by herself while I've been trying to do all this. And, I did not want to go to Boise for lots of reasons. That's a long way away from home. My family wasn't going to be able to come. My kids are starting school. And so Sunday was huge for professionally, but it was also really big personally, just because I can be with my family more, and it was just such a relief.
Does this week then allow you to just sort of play like I've got nothing to lose? Because obviously now you have to post another really good result to move on. So how do you look at this week in that regard?
No, you're spot on, Bob. I'm playing with house money. I'm on credit at the casino, and I can just kind of let it go. And so I think I need to set a new goal I probably need to figure out exactly what I need to finish to get inside the top 70. So I need to set a new goal, figure out kind of where I need to finish, and then just kind of look at the leaderboards and kind of get motivated and figure out a way to get to that number and try and win the golf tournament. But you can't win the golf tournament until Sunday. So let's just put ourselves in positions and see what happens.
Great. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
What is Shane Ryan with Golf Digest, and then we'll do Rex Hoggard after that.
Hey, Chesson, I know you didn't ask me, but for me it was really good crying. Like, very, very well done.
I appreciate it. I gave Sean every opportunity to tell me I was a good crier.
Yeah.
Crickets. Absolutely
No
crickets.
Notes. No notes. I wanted to ask you, if somebody were to come to you who is just getting onto the PGA Tour, or who's maybe a year away from it, and saw you as somebody who has had those ups and downs, has had some great moments, some disappointing moments, and you've had a decently long career under your belt at this point, if they asked you, how do you deal with that? How do you deal with the ebbs and flows when you're not, Tiger Woods or somebody? What mentality should you take for that over the long distance? What would you have to say to somebody like that?
That's a good question. It's never easy, but it gets easier the more you do it, which is not necessarily the goal to go through that really more than once or twice in a career. But it does get easier, right? Like, I think it comes with wisdom, and you only obtain wisdom by living life and going through experiences and experiencing them and know how to deal with them better the next time. But you have to be tough. You have to be so tough out here. You have to be mentally, I'm certainly biased, but I think physically this is the hardest sport in the world, and there's no questions asked. This is the most difficult mental sport in the world. And you have to be so tough. And if I can encourage kids these days, or is you work on your mental game, because you do not have to be the best in the world. You have to be good, very good, certainly physically out here. But if you can just kind of mentally be better than everybody else, you'll find your way out to the PGA Tour, and you will have a very long, good career out here.
Has it been a good life, professionally speaking, for you, do you think, the golf aspect of it?
That's another good question. You know, Grayson Murray, friend of mine, he lives in Raleigh. Obviously, he's doing some stuff right now, and with his tweet recently. But it shed a little bit of light on kind of the life that we live. It is not always glamorous. It's hard. We are on the road a lot. I don't sleep in my own bed. I don't see my family necessarily as much as I want. And that's an aspect of this game that people don't understand. I'm not on a private jet. I don't get on a jet and then fly to the next location. I don't have that luxury. I certainly have the potential to unlock that, but I'm obviously battling to finish 125 this year, and I can't afford to do that. And this is hard, and this is a grind, and I do love it. You guys saw in my interview that I love what I do, and there are certainly a lot of aspects of it that I love, but there are aspects of it that are not great. Honestly, it's not that much fun, and it's a challenge.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Chesson.
Sure.
Greg Sauter, golf channel.
Kind of related, in A+ on the crying as well. I was very impressed. There was no heavy breathing. That seems to be the key for good crying. But when was the last time you had cried on the golf course? On the course.
Cried on the golf course. Oh God, it was probably junior golf. When I actually cried on the golf course.
For a good thing or a bad thing?
Typically it's always. Actually, that's not true. When I earned my card back in 17, I remember getting emotional in New York after I won. But I tapped in, and then I kind of went off to the side, and the round was over, but I knew I knew I had locked my card up, and I was going back there, so I was emotional then.
And kind of a similar question to what you've answered, I'm curious I'm sure you've been in this sort of perform or go home situation before during your PGA Tour career. How do you find you perform under that kind of unique pressure?
I feel like when my back's against the wall, I've done pretty well. It just makes you go to kind of a little bit of an extra gear focus-wise. And I talked to one of my great friends and former coach about this kind of after Sunday, just to kind of put a thumb on maybe one of the reasons why I did play better on Sunday. And so there's some, you got to tap into a little bit of a reserve or something that you have in there that you might not necessarily tap into, all the time.
Thank you.
You got it.
All right, Kevin Price, the floor is yours.
Alrighty. Thank you, Laura. Hello, Chesson. Congratulations.
You are the man.
Avoiding. You are the man. That was fun to watch on Sunday. We had all sorts of stuff going on in Omaha, but I was following on the side as well. I'm like, wow. I wanted to ask, did you have a flight, hotel, car planned for Boise? And were you had your mind got there, or were you not?
Oh yeah. Absolutely. It was all ready. There was plan A, and then there was plan B. It was all ready. I can't even begin to describe to you how little I wanted to go to Boise. Raleigh is not close to Boise. I am so thankful. There are a lot of, I might be my most thankful reason why I'm in New York. And I've won in Boise, so I like that place, but I'm so glad to be here.
And can you kind of speak to just what the difference is with worst case in the FedEx Cup playoffs now? It's pretty much the same status as you would have by winning the finals 25. So just that kind of line of demarcation is just kind of how big it is for your status, what you were able to do.
Yeah, I also get a little bit more FedEx Cup money.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is true.
That helps. But you're right, it would basically be the same status if I had won the finals. You know what? I'll pat myself on the back. I've done that before. So, I don't know. I think it just does something. It's different. I think it puts me in a different mindset versus going back to finals and then doing all of that. I feel like I'm in a different mindset now than I would have been if I finished 126 or something like that. So I'm excited to be here. And hopefully we can ride this ship all the way to Atlanta.
Absolutely. And was that literally your first ace, when's the last ace you had, anywhere, practice round?
In my existence, that is my first ace since ever. So
Never junior golf, never.
I have never ever had the ball go in the hole the very first time I hit it on a par 3 or par 4.
So when you hear of guys talking about having 15, 20 aces, would you always shake your head in the past type of thing?
They're just lucky.
Then,
No, yeah, I mean, my coach, everybody gives me so much crap about it, and it's not like I'm not good enough to make a 1 or wasn't good enough to make a 1. It just wasn't my time yet. But I did it in a PGA Tour event on the very last round when I most needed something, and I guess not many of them could probably say that. So that was pretty cool.
Absolutely. And last from me, I was looking back at the 2017 Boise board where you won, and you were tied with David Skins entering the final round, or the third round. He withdrew to go home. His second son was being born, and you went on to win the tournament. And I was wondering if I could get your perspective on how cool that must be for David, first year getting his PGA Tour card, winning in Omaha, to get it done kind of in those circumstances of having been so close in Boise 4 years ago and then deciding to go home.
Oh, sure. I don't know David very well. Certainly know of David, but I followed that and saw what he did, and I mean, I can't imagine. Was it how many years? 17 years has he been a pro? Is that what I read?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's you want to talk about being tough, like I was talking about earlier. I mean, that is tough, and that I'm sure he is just over the moon. I saw on Instagram or Twitter about what his boys kind of had everything all set up for him when he got home, and I mean that's a memory, and I guess that's kind of why we're all out here. We're all about making memories, and that's certainly one he'll never forget.
Chesson, always a pleasure. Glad I won't be seeing you in Columbus.
Thanks, Kevin. I'll see you at the Players.
Chesson,
Yes, sir. Thank you.
One more question for you, and then we'll let you go from Sean Martin.
Okay.
I'm back. A lot of talk about the emotions. Just curious, physically with your game, was there anything that you had been working on that had clicked, or anything new you've been doing with any aspects of your game physically to play well down the stretch?
No, but one thing that I did learn that at Congaree, I just kind of got stuck in the mode of just keep doing what I was doing. And not make because it got sideways really bad there the last 4 or 5 holes at Congaree, and I never made an adjustment, which I look back now and gosh, that was so stupid, because if I had just made up maybe a slight ball position or weight shift adjustment at setup, it could have, we wouldn't even be having this type of conversation. But I learned something there. I remember sitting in 5 fairway, and things were starting to get a little bit loose for me on Sunday, and I was like, David, I got to make a little adjustment, and we just kind of talked, and I just kind of shifted my weight just a touch left, and I hit some really quality shots on the way in, and so, I learned something there, and that was really only a job. I've been kind of just sticking with things, because it had been making me made cuts, and the putter was still doing things. I just hadn't put it all together, and then it just all kind of came together at Wyndham.
Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you, Chesson. Let you go. Good luck this week.
Thanks, Laura.